Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka NBT, and the world is conspiring against you. I swear to God I've had the Gold Pride TMT in the tank for like 8 days now, but in sequence there's been something I have to talk about on the channel every single day since the reveal. No big deal, no big deal. Today we are talking about a ban list that was released momentarily, a ban list that will be in effect for the 3v3 at Vegas, which I will be playing, a ban list that is going to irrevocably change my deck list. I love getting these lists one day before an event. My thoughts and prayers to all of you at Leon. Looks like I won't be able to take Tierlament to an event, but there is a list update, so we'll just do a blind reaction now. As to what I expect on the list, I really hope they hit Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds. I would like to see Fluandereeze develop into a more interesting deck. I hope they take a few pre-hits at Kashtira, things that they expect to be good in the list that aren't exactly named the existing Kashtira cards in Photon Hypernova, though at the end of the day, they gotta sell sets. And finally, I hope they hit Tierlament. I do hope that some portion of the deck is no longer available. I would expect that Pellerino is the culprit, in my opinion. That is the card that allows it to play through the most. I would also maybe like to see a hit to one of the names. Havness to 1 feels good, but unfortunately with Tierlament's Kashtira, you now kind of have 6 copies of Havness anyway. So that's what I want. The card that makes Fluandereeze more interesting, something that will make Kashtira slightly less playable, and of course the slaughter of Tierlament. Let's see what we've got. Scythe! Stormwinds! Oh my god, I'm so happy. So 2 things here. Firstly, the reason that you see Tierlament still very powerful in the OCG is because when they hit Tierlament, they also hit everything else. And that means that Tierlament, despite the fact that its power level was decreased, was still a higher power level than other decks. If you are hitting the best deck, you have to be careful hitting the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th best deck as well, or else it'll just repeat itself cyclically. I'm a little scared at seeing hits to cards like Artifact, Scythe, and Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds because those are the cards that keep those rogue decks in contention. However, they're also boring as shit. They produce these unfun non-games. So realistically, making decks play fair is something that I'm wholly in favor of, but it means that we're going to have to go really hard on tier if we don't want it to be crazy. Speaking of, they banned Kid Kolos. Well, that is disastrous. Wow. That's as bad as it could have gotten. Yeah. Okay, well, if you're unfamiliar, this is what the OCG did, and it didn't kill the deck. People just pivoted to playing cards like King of the Swamp, but I would expect the TCG knows this, and will be taking additional hits as well. For instance, Tierlament was still playable in the OCG while they had the Kid Kolos ban, and like 4 other tiers at 1 and 2, so they'll have to do more. Sprite Elf banned? Okay, so that is really painful for sure for a number of decks. The reason that I think that it's not specifically a Sprite hit is because it was playable in everything. It was part of the Tierlament end board, of course. It was playable in a number of decks that just wanted it to cycle something like a Diviner of the Herald in order to access a pop on your opponent's turn. Also made that card a lot better at sending the Ishizu monsters to the graveyard. Sprite Elf was always going to be a problem card, in my opinion. Just stop printing things that are even remotely generic that have effects like this. But it still seems a little soon into its lifespan to destroy it. I don't know. It looks like no spells and no traps. Okay. All right. Well, let's keep going. Agido the Ancient. Oh my god, they limited all the Ishizus! Oh, no. Oh, that might actually kill Tierlament. Oh, god. Wow, that is disastrous. Oh. I was of the opinion, like, the hit that I wanted was to see the Kelbeck ban. Or not Kelbeck, Keldo. I find Keldo to be the most annoying part of this little engine, but hitting them all to 1 is going to drastically decrease the frequency with which Tierlament can hit enough cards to consistently find something like a King of the Swamp in the graveyard. This plus the Kid Kolos ban is a really, really good way to destroy tier. Wow. Wow, Now, keep in mind that this might not actually take Tier Behind the Shed. Casino Tier was very playable before the release of the Ishizu cards. It was arguably the best deck, but now it will have to hit not only a tier name, but also a King of the Swamp. There are some ways to play around it. Fenrir into Tearlaments, Kitkalos, into Dracosac, into Cherubini, into Sen King of the Swamp is one of them. But we'll see. We will see. All right, well, fuck me, I guess. Wow. We really got Dragon Rulered. Wow. I'm devastated. I was going to play Tearlament at the 3v3 because I knew I would never get a chance to do it, and now it looks like I won't have that chance. I will never be able to bring Tearlament to a YCS. Wow. That's devastating. That's devastating. That's as bad as it could get. I really have no other words for it than that. But if you don't want to see Tearlament every round, this is a fantastic way to do it. I mean, this is... Oh. Wow. So, Havness, Merly, and Sheeran all at one means that the only one that's at... the only ones that are still unlimited are ones that can't perform a fusion summon, which drastically decreases the ability to do much of anything with the deck. Oh, God, that's... Wow. All right, let's keep going. AFD is getting the errata. Should have happened years ago. Fantastic decision. I love AFD. I think it does still have some playability in some archetypes, and I'm really excited to start brewing with the card again. But March 10th, 2023, they're going to start activating the Effect 2 search field spells again. It's like no spells, no traps. Mally still semied. Pot of Desire still semied. Recital Starling also still semied. You really didn't think we could take off Recital Starling? My God. And then we've removed Destrudo the Lost Dragon's Frisian. Boy, that's a disastrous decision right now. Jet Synchron a 3, I guess. Mecha Phantom Beast O-Lion. Okay, so the Hauk holding facility has now decreased. We've decided that one card is just allowed to be 2 material for a link. That's just where we are. Servant of Endymion came to 3. I know one guy who will be happy about that. True King Lithosogym the Disaster. Sure, I mean, this could have come out 10 years ago. Same with Yatagarasu. And Resort. Wow. Well, with the Master Plan ban, I think that you could probably give Spiral absolutely everything, and they wouldn't be able to compete in today's day and age. So, unfortunately, not too much to talk about outside of the tier hits. Tearlament, of course, absolutely devastated by this list, slaughtered. Fluon Deriz now in a position where they're not going to be able to have access to Barrier Statue of the Stormwinds, and therefore aren't going to be able to make up the difference in that archetype versus other ones. But it puts the format in a very precarious position. If the next least hit deck after the Sprite Elf hits is Kashtira, you can expect that it will be everywhere. But Kashtira is a very telegraphed deck. Everything that it does is a known quantity. It can't really beat Nibiru, it can't really beat Book of Eclipse, and it can't really beat Lava Golem and Sphere Mode. So if you main deck those cards, and then play a bunch of cards that special summon monsters, things like, Sprite Starter, you might be able to metagame your way into a position where, despite the fact that there's no hits to Kashtira, it isn't the best deck. Definitely the number one thing I'm looking for a tournament under this list is Sprite. I'm certainly considering Kashtira as it emerged unscathed. Maybe a hybrid of the two archetypes even. But, wow. I cannot express how many strategies the existence of the shufflers was keeping under wraps. This is a format that is going to take months to shake out, and I'm going to have to figure it out in 2 weeks. So wish me luck, and wish Alex and Gage luck as well, because they're going to have to deal with whatever I'm playing. I wonder if it's too late to pick up Abyss Actors.